Alright, today we're going to be looking at Microsoft Office 2007, Word specifically, and we're going to show you how to set up a couple of the more basic things you should do every time you make a new document, and that is making sure your margins are set correctly, making sure your font is set correctly, usually to Times New Roman 12 point, and we're also going to cover something a little bit more advanced, which is adding a footer to your document that includes the document path and file name. So we're going to start by opening up Office 2007, and for the purposes of this I have a test file set up as an example. So as you can see, the margins in this are really messed up. It's all off on the side. It doesn't start until a few inches down on the page, and if you ever work in a computer lab environment on campus, you may fairly often sit down at a computer and someone has their margins completely messed up like this. So how you go about fixing this is going to the Page Layout tab up at the top of the program, and under this there's a Page Setup section including the Margins button. So you can click on this, and the normal setting is 1-inch margins all around, which is what we want. It'll take a second to think about it, and then boom, 1-inch margins all around. Now if you ever need special margins set for something, which sometimes you might, if you go back into that margins button, there is a custom margins option at the bottom in which you can actually type in the specific size you want all of the margins to be. So you can change this to 1.1, top left, bottom right, whatever you need, but we don't need that right now. So the next thing is you want to make sure that your font is set correctly. For this we want it to be in Times New Roman 12 point. So we head back to our tabs up top and go over to Home. And under the font section, it has pretty much everything you need right up front. So the first thing you have to do is, next to the name of the currently selected font, is hit the little drop down arrow, and we're going to scroll down to Times New Roman. Now if you're working on a computer that you've used before, it may well also have Times New Roman at the top of this under the nifty little recently used font section. So we'll click Times, and it's in Times, but it's still a little bit small. So what we want to do is then click the drop down arrow next to the number, which is your current font size, and click 12. And now you're good to go. Now something that is a little bit more advanced that you might have to do is add a header or a footer to your document. So to do this, we once again head back up to our tabs up top and choose the Insert tab. And under the header and footer section over here, we have controls for the header, the footer, and also the page number, which you'll likely need a lot. But in this case, footer. So we're going to click on that, and it'll bring up some basic templates for what you want to look like. In this case, we'll use this one. That's kind of cool. So we got a nice line down there. Now you notice once you're working in the header or the footer, you can't control anything in the actual body of the document. You're locked into just the footer in this case. And another thing to notice is that we've opened up a new tab up top. There's a header and footer tool section with a design tab, and even if you go over to other tabs, this will still stay there as long as you still have the footer currently open. So what we want to do is add in the file path and the file name to show up in the bottom of every page. To do this, we're going to go to the Insert section of the Design tab and click on Quick Parts. And under here, we're going to click on Field. This looks a little bit daunting, but it's not really. Under Field Names on the left, we want to scroll down until we find a file name. Under File Name, we'll get a couple more options. Field Properties is just how it shows up, so uppercase, lowercase. We're going to choose first letter of it capitalized. And also, since we want the path to show up in the file name, we'll click the Add Path to File Name box, conveniently right there. Click OK, and it shows up right down there in the bottom. This text is just the default text that shows up, so that'll just show up right there. And to finish working in the footer, you click the Close Header and Footer button up here, and you have your controls back here in the documents. So that is pretty much it. You're ready to rock.